I am Doomsvince, and this is day 111 of Spawn Year.
If it weren't for the writing in my own blood and the dead rising from the grave over the past week, I could almost call this a vacation. I've been reviewing Bendis' Sam and Twitch for exactly 1 week, and I feel like I got to go along with Jessica Priest and her fake, sickeningly normal family to Disney World. And I don't want to leave. For 7 days I've had a steady stream of interesting, challenging, well-conceived, and consistently plotted fiction. It's like coming up for air. I was beginning to wonder if I'd ever know what rational and believable storytelling felt like again. And now I'm reviewing the penultimate issue of the Udaku story. This is the first time we've been told just how many issues this story has to go. Nice to know I won't be starting day 183 with, "For the love of Grandma Blake, just tell me what the heck an Udaku is." And I'm horrified this series will end with issue 8, and I'll be right back to the wonderful world of retcons. If Spawn had a theme park, that's what it would be called. One of the main attractions would be a roller coaster called the Mount Bolgia. You'd have to ride it all day long and you'd never be allowed off, but it's always for a different reason, and the lead ride attendant who puts you on would be a creepy guy with a skull for a face who's later replaced with a chick in tight black leather who would keep swearing she's been there the whole time. And that would be the only free ride in the whole park after you paid admission. Everything else, from Don't Push Angela's Button to Simmonsville to Let's Bomb the Overlap to Dissecting Folks with Curse, would all cost an obscene amount of money, discouraging you from doing anything but getting jerked around on the Bulgy or wandering around the main drag of Rat City while scary employees dressed like homeless people try to sell you things. Well, it seems a week without Spawn has made me nonetheless bitter. What was I doing? Oh yes, penultimate issue of the Udaku story. All the questions are answered already. Bendis may still have 1 or 2 surprises up his sleeve regarding the genetically engineered men in white coats, but I thought I'd be racking my brain trying to solve this mystery up until the final pages. After berating myself yesterday for not solving the case myself with all the clues Bendis seemed to have planted, I'm pretty happy with myself for calling that the extra body parts, all coming from the same source, was from an experiment to create genetically superior men, though that's pretty obvious if you're familiar with any science fiction at all, and doubly so if you've read any comic books. What Dr. Death deduces, unintentional alliteration, oh well, too late now, that I never thought of is that the multiple men in white coats are those genetic experiments, that the body parts belong to them, that they aren't the masterminds behind the San Giacomo murders, but the tools being used to facilitate them, and that each is created with a special way of killing its target so as to create several seemingly disconnected MOs. The final member of the San Giacomo family is murdered here in the most surprising of ways. One of the men in white coats jumps on his car, and in a completely unexpected, jaw-dropping 2-page spread, it explodes. Bendis expertly foreshadows that with San Giacomo's ironic line to Sam and Twitch, "Don't be too hard on yourselves. You walked away. Any day you can do that is a good day." Then bam, and Sam and Twitch are blown right on their butts. I never saw it coming. In the middle of that shootout that was still in progress at the end of last issue, Sam and Twitch managed to capture Falsone, one of the dirty cops on the take who knows what Udaku means and confirms that whoever's responsible for this whole scheme has indeed gained control of a lot of police. And that's why we've seen bad cops killing good cops. Laid up in a hospital and cornered by the feds, Falsone reluctantly exposits everything he knows. The Udaku is a South African mob family that's been around for 500 years, and with the San Giacomos broken up like the Beatles and all trying out solo careers, they use their genetically engineered minions to take out the competition and start taking over New York, including offering Falsone and a lot of other dirty cops $100,000 up front to do whatever they said, and making it very clear they were a lot more powerful than anyone else with the men in white coats and not in the position to take no for an answer. That also explains why Affleck, a stand-up cop, was killed, and why the cops on the take have been after Sam and Twitch. The Udaku are trying to stamp out anyone with a convicted sense of justice they know they can't control. And that's also why Lieutenant Barnes reinstated Sam and Twitch. Not enough good cops, why he gets killed soon after, and what he meant when he said the department's been falling apart since Sam and Twitch left. In the first issue, I thought that was a little silly, like Sam and Twitch were somehow the glue that held that place together. No, this just all started after they left. I was a little skeptical that the answers would be satisfying and worth the wait, but I'm impressed. Bendis has never shown his hand and given the sense of the scope of this whole thing until now. The subplot with the cops out to get Sam and Twitch always seemed unrelated to the main story until last issue. And another, more powerful mob moving in makes perfect sense, but since the San Giacomos were supposed to be the biggest, most powerful family in town, Bendis misdirected me from considering that possibility. Also, the gradual way he's introduced all these elements and opened the playing field wider and wider, now showing that every player is connected to the Udaku plot, makes this big of a scheme easier to swallow than if he had introduced the Udaku as the big bad from the beginning. By the way, Bendis' answers in the letters pages are sarcastic and relentless. He makes fun of his readers constantly, and they're a lot of fun to read. Someone asks him what Udaku really means, and he says it's Swahili for 8-part storyline, which is doubly amusing since up until now, he's left that a mystery too. This issue is even more talky than usual, with all the exposition about how everything fits together, but it's at least more natural than if Sam and Twitch did that cliché detective thing of finishing each other's sentences while they explain it all. I also think they get a little lucky that they walk into an ambush and walk out with a guy who has their answers, and that they almost lose him to San Giacomo before he blows up. Unless he was a plant, and now Udaku wants Sam and Twitch to know all that for some reason. Interesting how I kinda know everything, but there's a whole issue left to go. Once again, I can't wait for tomorrow. How can I make the time go faster so I can hurry up and read the next issue? I know, I'll make up more rides for my Spawn theme park. Okay, Necroplasmic Rapids, Count Cagliostro's Convoluted Cacophony, Follow That Monkey's Aura, Vandalizing Stuff with the Vandalizer, Overdoing It with Overkill, Hanging with Spawn and the KKK, Billy Kincaid's Finger Painting Challenge.